Whiskey Wednesday. I am back with another Bourbon Bums review. I said I would be back regularly on Wednesdays, and I'm keeping my promise. I wasn't sure how I was going to start this video because originally I said I had a backlog of bourbons and whiskeys that I wanted to review. And I thought I'm just going to rattle off like a bunch of them, like maybe three, four at a time. Um, and then I was upstairs before recording and I had this new Riff Malted Rye. Um, Dougie, Chicago Sports Bum's Dougie Freshness, the newest bum, was in Cincinnati for the White Sox tailgate from the 108 and Sox machine that they hosted. So he was over there. I had told a bunch of people, basically anybody that would listen, go to New Riff, check out what they have at New Riff, see if they have any distillery only things, see if they have anything fun. This is not a distillery only thing, but it's something that I've been looking for a while. I know it's now readily available, but I just hadn't gotten my hands on it. Dougie was lucky enough to bring it back. So I had this today. Blew my mind. It really did blow my mind. So instead of doing just a bunch of reviews for a bunch of different things, I'm just going to suck New Riff's dick for a while. And I don't know how appropriate or professional that sounds, but it's the truth. New Riff is doing some awesome things. So they started in 2014, so they're less than 10 years old. And by distillery standards, I mean, that's a baby, that's, some of these companies are pre-prohibition and like just decades and decades of history. This is not them. They're doing things new. Obviously, that stands for the new riff. It says a new riff on an old tradition. I first had the single barrel. Can't recommend this enough. I love their single barrel products. I usually always have one available in my house, in my bar cart upstairs. And it's just a standard, not daily drinker, but whenever I need something a little higher proof, this is a 108.4. They vary, obviously, because of their single barrel. And they're a good value. So I started with that. Dougie brought me the new Riff Malted Rye. And if you guys remember, I did the Smoke Wagon Malted Rye a little while ago. And I thought that was something completely different than the standard offerings at most places. And I thought, wow, it was a breath of fresh air. This, which is what I have in the glass right now, ignore the Old Forester Glen. I need to wash some dishes. This was awesome. And so I said, I'm going to just suck New Riff's dick for a while because they're doing things the right way. Most of their expressions, they're not afraid to, try things their way. They've been doing obviously a lot with malt and some different ryes. And this malted rye is, man, it was unexpected. So I get like orange peel right away. I got that right away. It was orange peel. I get like maple syrup. I get oh man, so this is the problem with doing this live and no cuts and no edits. What is the maple syrup? McGriddle. I get like the pancake batter or pancake McGriddle, not the actual full McGriddle, obviously not cheese and sausage, but the pancake and syrup. And it's not like a new maple syrup. It's like a artificial Aunt Jemima style maple syrup. So yeah, man, this is so good. It's crazy how good this is. I sat upstairs, had my first glass, so this is my second glass now. And I keep saying I'm just going to wax poetic about it. It's super complex for a 6-year. It's a 6-year bottle and bond, 100 proof malted rye. It says our 100% malted rye whiskey is bottled and bond without chill filtration, exceeding the world's highest quality standard for spirits set forth by the 1897 Bottle and Bond Act. Age at least 6 years. It doesn't drink like a rye. It doesn't drink like a bourbon. It drinks like its own thing, and it's almost like the best of both worlds. I don't get a lot of spice. I don't get a lot of grassy notes from it. I get a little bit of like a sweet tea, um, definitely like a sweet tea aspect to it. But it's also like the orange peel is very pronounced, which I like. And then the maple syrup caramel pancake kind of deal, McGriddle, if you will. The finish is long. The mouthfeel is good. $65. So Dougie was able to bring this back from New Riff for 65 bucks. No markup. There shouldn't be any markup. I checked Binny's before I started recording. I didn't see any on the shelves at my local Binny's. I didn't see any in stock online, but there were some available at some Total Wines. I know there's some Total Wines in Wisconsin if you're in the north side of Chicago. Um, but you should be able to find this. They said it there. It's going to be a standard expression going forward. So if you notice, a lot of people reviewed this last year when it first released and it was more limited. And then all of a sudden, maybe like 2 weeks ago, even a month ago, a lot more reviews happened when a lot more people got their hands on it. If I'm giving it a grade just because of the uniqueness to it and the value to it, it drinks much more than a $65 rye. Um, Man, I think I'm going to give it an A plus. I don't think I've given an A plus on the bourbon bums or any of my whiskey reviews so far. I think it's an A plus. I think I'm gonna make it a point to have this as much as I can going forward. It's super unique, it's super different, and it's super good. Um, Man, yeah, I would be very interested to see if they're able to pull this off at like a barrel proof or higher proof. My guess is no, but yeah, it's still an A plus. I would say if I were to nitpick on it, is that, man, I would like it just a little bit spicier, especially for a rye. I usually like my ryes a little more spicy, but like I said, this is almost not a rye. It's almost not a bourbon. Um, A plus for New Riff's Malted Rye. So this is that was a surprise. And then quickly, while I have you, because we're talking about New Riff, Dougie was also kind enough to bring back this bottle. It's Silver Grove straight bourbon whiskey, barrel proof without filtration, aged 4 years. Inspired by a 1933 bottling of Silver Grove bourbon, we submit this 2023 limited edition of New Riff Silver Grove, entirely distilled and aged in Newport, Kentucky by New Riff Distilling, bottled at barrel proof to bring you the first ever blend at cast strength. We hand selected barrels distilled in 2019 that amplify our flagship high rye bourbon recipe. Mash bill 65% corn, 30% malted rye, 5% barley. So it's their standard high rye bourbon, aged 4 years. I wasn't expecting much of this either. Although I just said New Riff almost can't miss at this point in my eyes. But it was a distillery. I'm like, just find me anything distillery only. We'll see. We'll check it out when we get here. Aged 4 years. I wasn't expecting much from that. 113.5 proof. I'm like, let's give it a shot. Um, so we opened it up last time we had our bum meeting. Jason tried it, Dougie tried it, and I tried it. Got a little bit of water, and it was awesome. No surprise. I said I was gonna suck New Riff's dick. I'm sucking New Riff's dick. Waves of caramel and vanilla, like just instant vanilla frosting, vanilla, caramel. The first thing I will say, and take a sip right now already. For 113 proof, it drinks like a 90 proof whiskey. There's like no ethanol. There's like legs to it. I don't know if the camera picks it up. It's viscous. It's buttery. There's a like a butterscotch, like Werther's original candy note to it. Soothing almost. Awesome bottle for, I think he got it for 55 bucks. Um, so when we had it, And I'm like 113 proof, barrel proof, like same price point. I was like, people know this. People go crazy for Old Forester barrel proofs. Obviously, the single barrel proofs. They're higher in proof. This one is 125.8 proof. These are 4 years. People, I don't think people realize most of these are 4-year-old bourbons. Um, this thing, while lower in proof, just as good for half the price. Obviously, you have to go to Kentucky to pick it up. New Riff is right on the border of Cincinnati and Cincinnati, Ohio, and Kentucky. So it's not that far of a drive from Chicago. If you make a weekend out of it or you're driving through, stop by, grab a couple bottles. That thing's awesome. I wish I had more of them. I'm going to probably save that one just for display and to share it with friends. But I'm very happy that Dougie picked it up. So shout out Dougie. It's very, very good. I'll probably bring it to a Whiskey at Comiskey tailgate so some of our friends could try it at White Sox games. Um, but yeah, I'll be bringing all three of these bottles to Whiskey at Comiskey in the near future because I want to share it with them. They're very special bottles. And what I like about it is New Riff, it's fairly available. You're not going to be able to, they're not allocated. There's nothing too hyped about it. So yeah, that's me talking about New Riff bourbon and New Riff whiskey. And can't recommend it enough. A couple housekeeping notes. We have the Bumcast Monday nights, 9 p.m. Last week's episode, if you haven't missed it or if you haven't seen it, it was a lot of fun. We talked a lot of sports, but also a whole bunch of nonsense, cereal and juking and dinosaurs and everything in between. It was kind of a wild show, but that's what we want it to be. We want it to be fun. We want it to be interactive. There's a lot of people in the comments. If you haven't catched the Bumcast live 9 p.m. on Monday, please do. It's our flagship show, and it's a lot of the reason why we are able to do all of this stuff. Dougie is reeling out the cooking with fresh episodes. He's killing it on that. And then Whiskey at Comiskey. We're going to be at doing Whiskey at Comiskey all season long still. Make sure to keep an eye out on the schedule. There's some scheduling dates that have changed, not because of us, because the White Sox changing games around from 7 p.m. to 3 p.m. We're still doing them, just hours change. All right, that's it. I'm done rambling. This is a longer episode than I wanted it to be, but dude, I'm back. I feel good. We're drinking bourbon. We're reviewing. We're sharing bottles. So keep an eye out. I'll be back next week. Cheers, guys.